American sports have long been at the intersection of race and society. This year's NFL season was loaded with protest. Players, most of them African-American, knelt on the sidelines as the national anthem played to make a point about racial injustice in America.
Sports from the turn of the 20th century forward in particular have always involved the most serious and deeply felt secular sentiments and values, political sentiments and values of society.
When a 32-year-old black boxer named Jack Johnson stepped into the ring and claimed the heavyweight title in 1908 during the Jim Crow era, it sparked widespread anger throughout the white community.
When you look at these great athletes who were already in the mainstream competing, gaining access, they were way ahead of the desegregation curve.
Decades later, as Muhammad Ali rose to prominence in the boxing world, he put his career and freedom at stake to protest the draft during the Vietnam War.
Very disturbed about the militaristic posture of our nation.
Ali's stance cost the heavyweight champion 3 years of matches during the prime of his boxing career, but he remained outspoken.
My fight is legal. But if you notice, I'm been the most persecuted. I'm not allowed to work in America. I'm not allowed to leave America. Home of the brave, land of the free.
Ali's example inspired other athletes of the time. Basketball player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar boycotted the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, where American track athletes Tommie Smith and John Carlos raised their black-gloved fists, an iconic statement of black pride. But speaking out on issues of racial injustice in subsequent decades became more muted, even amid incidents like the Rodney King police beating and LA riots. The 1980s and 90s saw an explosion of salaries and endorsements for professional athletes.
Many people think that it was the fear of losing their endorsements and their high salaries that kept players from speaking out publicly.
But as shootings of unarmed black men garnered national spotlight, athletes responded. In 2016, Serena Williams voiced support for the Black Lives Matter movement after winning her 7th Wimbledon title. Months later, then San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick refused to stand for the national anthem before an NFL game. It spurred debate over Kaepernick's actions and unleashed a swarm of pushback. Kaepernick is now unemployed and off the field. Some say it was his activism that left him sidelined. President Donald Trump had harsh criticism of his own.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
That debate about the anthem, about the flag, is the reddest of red herrings. The point is that we have injustice.
Former Minnesota Vikings player Alan Page, who went on to become an associate justice at the Minnesota Supreme Court, says the conversation about patriotism misses the point, but also that protesting alone is not enough.
Take some concrete actions beyond merely drawing attention to the problem and being involved in steps to eliminate it.
I shall die demanding truth while I'm still akin to youth.
With powerful examples throughout history, black athletes of the next generation are making their own statements in the fight for racial progress. Noreen Nasser, The Associated Press.